No, I don't want a blowjob to end all blowjobs. I want a tuna sandwich.
Look at me grow, I'm in a jersey and she in a gown. Like I'm a Godzilla for God, look at them running from me in a crowd.
I mean, I may as well start it. Like, do I do intros? Fuck.
How does it start? Do you play? He's hit record.
I haven't even thought of it. Yeah, it's already recording.
What is this podcast? Is this Salt Lakes Club?
Yeah, Salt Lakes Club. It's going to be similar. It's like I said, it's going to be sort of Rogan-esque, but like, so it's not too funny. No, it'll be funny, serious, whatever. So it's mainly just for people for me to introduce comics to like people that. Like
I think it's good. Like even Locash is doing that at the moment, and I think he's got a right following. He's got the right following and a big enough sort of audience at this point to sort of at least draw the characters of the Sydney comedy scene in a way, because that's what I loved about the Rogan podcast as well, was that they would sort of draw these characters and make these characters sort of like without you even seeing them, they describe them and you get an idea of who these people were in the LA comedy scene. And I think that Locash is a good podcast, good following to start doing that for the Sydney comedy scene, and hopefully this can be sort of an addition to that too.
I have so many friends who watch, who like, now you know how Rogan's just mainstream now, like especially I think young guys will all tune in for certain ones. Most of my friends who aren't comics, they're all just like, I just skip the comedian ones every time. Like I want to hear him speak to fucking Ben Shapiro. I don't want to hear him speak to
yeah, I mean that's such an interesting thing about having a diverse like guest list is like, because like obviously I watch all the comic ones, like all the comedians, but then like I don't watch any like all the other ones. I'm like, I don't really give a fuck.
A lot of my friends say that as well. They're like, I actually just hold out for the comic ones.
Oh really?
And when I see some like guy from MIT or something like that, I'm like, not again. I don't want to watch anything on robotics.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that Lex Friedman guy, how the fuck has Rogan made him famous? He talks like a robot.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't want to see him again. You know what I mean? I'm done.
Yeah, they're fucking I think it's that Lex guy is so annoying to listen to for me. I'm like. It's got like he's got that nasally like and it's just like robotic sounding voice and pace and everything. And fuck. And
now he's got his own podcast as well. It pops up on my YouTube algorithm sometimes. It's like him talking to Theo Von. I'm like, how did these two people come together? This makes no sense.
Meeting of the minds. I mean, this is it is going to be. I'm going to cut together a fucking intro at the start. So then
I was going to say, let's do an intro.
Yeah, well, I mean, introduce yourselves. This is.
Elliot, my name is Elliott Rovedi. Nice to be talking to you.
Mm-hmm. I'm Tom Witcombe.
Yeah,
we're the host of the Tremendous podcast.
Yeah,
the Brothers Tremendous.
The Brothers Tremendous. That's what I was going to say. Give us some love.
Give us some love. Yeah, it'll be shared around. We'll get them going. And you guys are going to start doing videos soon, which is sick. But it's a good. Can
I just point out this has been the softest intro into a podcast. Like we stumbled into it, and they're like, oh yeah, these guys are on the podcast. They're representing another podcast. Let's come out with some flame. This is no Tremendous pod.
When I did what was your podcast called? The one that the two of you did.
The documentaries. Dead Comic Society.
Dead Comic Society. If you listen back to Dead Comic Society, my episode, that not once did either of you say my name.
Is that right?
That's so true. I remember sitting there being like, well, it's too late now. I can't. And I'm Tom Witcombe.
And you'd think that we'd be better. We'd be better podcasters, but no.
I mean, you guys are better than me now, but I just got the
What do you mean now?
Yeah. I did. Man, that is it is one of those things that's similar to open mic where, the couch is a bit annoying.
Yeah, well, I guess that's why they were free.
Yeah, $200. But it is an interesting thing. Like, it's similar to when you look back at old sets. Like, I watch some of the DCS and I'm like, fuck, I'm an annoying cunt. Like, big time. Like, and it's just the fact, like, there's so many angles to that where it's like a live audience, a live pod. I mean, it wasn't live stream, but like, it's all like, there's so much work going in and your brain's like, ticking overtime on it, and then it takes a back seat. You lose yourself. There's so much chaos going on.
It's the funny thing with podcasts as well, because at least with comedy, when you start off, it's like, okay, you have 4 minutes of these people's time. And now with podcasts, you're like, here's 3 hours
for
eternity. My thoughts. Episode 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, man, it is interesting. I mean, it was a good lesson though. Like, I feel like we learned so much from fucking doing that. Like I did anyway. Like
yeah, it was fucking awesome. And the hubris to think that we could be doing it in front of a live audience kind of thing and just pull it off.
That was fun when it worked. Yeah. But it was a lot of hubris to be like, hey guys, I know Sunday night is Hello Time and the Lord's Day. Yeah. But why don't you come and watch us talk about some documentary you've never heard of?
Oh my God. Yeah. I think maybe we could even rebirth it in some way, like maybe even like a segment or something like that. Because I love doing that documentary breakdown.
Is that a segment?
Is that it? Is it maybe?
Each one of EJ's mate says we should call the Tremendous Podcast, is that a segment? 'Cause that's all is that a segment? EJ says me segments are like, what about a segment called Let Me Gaslight You? And I go, okay, what does that segment mean? And he goes, I don't know. We can talk about it. We can work it out.
We'll figure it out later.
So you heard the word gaslighting, gaslight, and we're like, I've got an idea for a segment. I don't know what gaslighting is, but it's a segment.
I think the idea was that I would present a topic that is obviously going to rub you the wrong way, or that you wouldn't believe, and then see, exactly, I don't even know. Or maybe you pick a topic and then you try and gaslight me with it and try and defend it like an indefendable topic.
Every time we try and do anything improv related, it goes horribly.
We are the worst at improv, and all that I do is just lean back on my writing ego and be like, well, at least I'm better at this kind of thing. Like, only slightly, Elliot.
That is an interesting thing. I mean, both of you are, your style of comedy is very written and designed, like, precise. So, like, improv is definitely not your strong suit. I've seen you break once in sort of flick around with crowd work, and that's...
So I went to Wollongong to do a gig on Wednesday, and Muggleton was headlining, and I was watching him, and it was kind of, you know, it was a uni crowd, big room, and I just noticed, like, no matter how great his jokes were, nothing popped harder than great crowd work.
Yeah.
And when he hit great crowd, it just, like, everyone was into it. It just... And it was as well, it wasn't, you know how sometimes you see crowd work, you're like, that's not that funny, but because it's in real time, we're going to laugh harder.
Yeah.
It was great. Like, it was really funny. It could have been written stuff. And I watched that and I was like, fuck, I will never be able to hit that unless so that's why I posted, when we got like a group messenger chat, I posted like, who are the best crowd workers? I really want to spend some time trying to think about it and try and work on it, because I think it's such a skill that I just do not have at all.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with it, like... what we're saying is, like, I mean, the best, in my opinion, the best is Kyle, but that's just because he has no jokes. So, like, it is his style of comedy is to just fucking riff around and play around and just. Someone was talking about some crazy shit, like some of the craziest shit they've heard him say, like in crowd work, like something about like a girl was like saying she was like Korean, and he was like Korean Australian, and he's like. Korean German, and he's like, oh, sushi and hamburgers, and it's like neither of those are.
That was the magic. I remember that. Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Because and the funniest part is because he says that stuff, and he's like, he so honestly doesn't understand why anyone doesn't get it. Where he's like, oh yeah, like sushi, and the entire crowd is like. No.
Yeah.
Not like sushi. And he's like, what? What do you mean? Why can't I say sushi? And it's like, he just doesn't get it at all. I saw one of Happy Endings last week where he's like, what do you do for a living? And the woman's like, I'm a public servant. He's like, what, like a butler?
And it's brilliant.
His brain works
brilliantly retarded. So I think he's number one. Muggleton's got the precision of it, where it's like he can like riff and actually do a crowd work, like play off something into a joke, like create a joke on the spot. Whereas Kyle just says crazy shit that is hilarious. Yeah.
Muggleton does that. You're right. I remember, like, you'll talk to Muggleton, and I've heard Harry says that Johns does the same thing. Like, you just be chatting to him, and suddenly he'll say something really funny, and then it's on stage that night in that exact form, and it crushes. Like, he just comes up with jokes in conversation, and it works.
They just live it, which is crazy to think, like, how John's style is compared to the Mugs. But fuck, man, it is. Who's your favorite?
I was going to say, Crookshank is so fucking good at that in terms of like the crowd work. There's been times where I've been watching Crookshank and thought, I'm never going to be that naturally funny.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. It's like the difference between being a good comic and just being a funny person. I feel like I don't have the second part of that.
Yeah. He's so like organically just funny kind of thing. And I'm like, I'll be watching him on stage and I'm like, fuck, he's effortlly fucking hilarious. So like it's like intimidating, but also like trying to strive for that. But he's an underrated crowd worker.
Yeah. Oh yeah, underrated. Yeah, true. Yeah. I love when he turns on someone and he's like, no, not like that, cunt. And then just continues on. But I mean, Duggan as well. Duggan's nuts. I mean, Billy, all that. Like, it is such a skill, like the funny person thing that you're talking about there. It's something like, I mean, you'd think comedians should be funny just all the time. But like there are different styles where you don't have to always, not always on.
Yeah.
Like you're not just naturally funny, but you can just, like you guys precision it.
Yeah.
Not saying that you're not funny, but
it is a thing that some people can just hop on stage with a microphone and just talk, and then they naturally find a way to be funny. They don't need too much. Whereas I'm like, I need to I need an hour with a notebook beforehand to work out what I'm going to say.
I've got to construct the funny.
Yeah.
So just naturally do it.
Yeah. But I'd love to do more. That's what I've kind of got it as a goal for the next little while, is just to get better at just going up with nothing and just seeing like, and just knowing the rooms where I'm allowed to go and have that go terribly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, you can always try that in mine for sure. You've always got the freedom there. But it is, it'll be interesting to see what evolves from that. I mean, so both of you were down in Melbourne recently. Eh? Like you did Deadly Funny and lost. You did Raw and lost.
But I lost against every race. So
Yeah, man.
What was it? All right, so were you down there at the same time? No, a week apart.
Week apart, yeah. I was actually there with Carl Legacy at the time, aforementioned Carl Legacy, and we did some gigs together. We broke down sort of the whole trip on our own podcast, the Tremendous Podcast, and it was really good. The first time I've actually performed in Melbourne. I set up a whole bunch of gigs and just got a feel. But like I did notice that the audiences are a lot more PC.
Yeah.
They're a lot more, they're unwilling to give you the benefit of the doubt early. Like they'll come around, but in Sydney, I just felt like it was a lot easier. And then went to Melbourne, I was like, oh, there's a little bit of like, let me check your ID at the door first kind of thing before they accept you on stage. Like they were like, let me see what's up with this guy a little bit more.
They're also too PC to throw a glass at you, so.
Yeah.
Like even if you hit them hard, like they're just going to be like, all right, I don't like this guy. They'll boo you, but they're not going to throw.
That's ideal for me. Yeah.
And I mean, well, how was Raw? So you went down there for, were you wildcarded? No, you.
So there was only one winner from every state, and no runners up, and then wildcards in Melbourne and in Victoria and New South Wales.
Okay, so then you go down there. How many people are in the finals there? I know
12. So I think it was one from every state, 3 from Victoria, 3 from New South Wales.
Okay,
well, 1 from every other state.
Very interesting. And like, so that's done like in the same venue as the Real Pro.
Professional.
Done in the same venue as the gala, yeah?
No, the gala's at I think it's the Palais or something. It's at a different, it's in St Kilda.
Okay.
Whereas it's at Melbourne Town Hall. Okay. Which is like, I think it's where the big act, so I think Dilrook did his hour there. I know after Chen sold out his first, like the rest of his run, the extra shows were at Town Hall. Okay. So his capacity was about 1,000. I think for COVID it was down a little bit. I think maybe capacity like 1,200 and COVID it was like 1,000. But it was cool. It was the first time I performed it like on like a set. You know what I mean? There was, like a display in the back and there was lighting for it. That was pretty cool.
Cameras, and they have the... Do they have the like over the camera that's
sweeping? I imagine like crane. Yeah, it was weird being.
You got a sweeping shot?
I really doubt it, but they have the capacity to. Yeah. So it was really cool being in the back because they had a TV set up where you could watch the set that was happening live.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so you actually, and it was, because I've seen so many of those Raw videos on YouTube, and you kind of don't really think about just. Sorry, you see like all of the stand-up that people put out in our circles right now, it's all single iPhone camera or maybe like single solitary camera in just a random pub. But seeing something professionally shot, and when you see it in real time, like the person, you're standing with them back and they walk out on stage and the next thing they're on TV in high definition with like 4 different camera angles and like all like close, tight to the chest, all that kind of stuff. You go, wow, that looks... great. It looks really cool. So I'm pretty keen to see what my footage looks like. I will be interested to see if it gets cut because apparently they do cut stuff out. That's the thing. Like I was talking to someone with it. It's so exciting. It comes out and you're like, I wonder what made it in. I wonder it gets pulled out, which I didn't realize happened. But apparently that's a thing.
I didn't realize that either.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a 5-minute, you do 5 minutes on there, right?
5 minutes, yeah.
God, that sucks. But yeah, it's like a 5-minute set and then like your video comes out at 3 minutes 20. You're like, okay, they cut something.
Yeah. And then you see others where it's like, Danielle Walker's is like 8 minutes long or whatever, and she still won. So I think it's, if you're good enough and you can go over, it's fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have the same rule. But
you are the same as the Melbourne International Comedy Festival.
I am comedy.
I mean, in terms of time, I let Eric do his Gentleman's 10, which is usually 20, and shit like that. Like if people are funny, just
Have you heard the
crush.
story? Amos did like 15 at his Raw final. He did it in 15 minutes because apparently I was talking to Muggleton about it and he was like, what are they going to do? Light me?
Yeah, because it's a live thing as well.
So he just stayed on. And apparently this, from what I've heard, So he got runner-up, I think. I don't know who won that year. And
Someone who stuck to time.
And apparently he got runner-up, which is pretty crazy that you can just like betray the rules that obviously, and they're still like, yeah, still pretty fucking good. They're still great. And but apparently it took him a long time to kind of get back in the good graces of the festival.
Yeah. Fuck him. But yeah, I mean, and how was Deadly Funny for you?
It was good. I got to do 3.5 minutes.
That's crazy.
So we had to do 4 minutes, but
International flight.
Yeah, it ended up being like they were just they were saying that you can't go over. That's the most important thing. We got a lot of contestants here. We got to make sure that you all stay in time. 3 minutes 30 would be best, even though you have 4 minets. And so I just had to go out there and just go bam, 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 kind of thing. Like just kind of hit it. And I was pretty happy with my performance. But again, yeah, like big set. You had to do the censorship meeting before where they told you this is not going to work on TV, and then you go out and yeah, you fucking, I got makeup as well. That was fucking insane. I got makeup up, but yeah, went out there and it was fun. It was really good.
How was your masculinity and ego after, like, while they're putting the makeup on you?
Well, everyone else had to do it, so I just felt like we were all. And next door, setting up, there was a show after us. It was a cross-dresser show.
Yeah.
What's the word? What's the fucking?
I mean, stick with
drag.
cross-dresser.
No, it was a drag show. It was a drag show.
Yeah, that's the word.
It was a drag show. Yeah.
I know when you said, like, what's the word? I was like, I don't know, but it's not that.
Yeah. That sounds way too weird. Yeah, so it was a drag show, and we just had way less makeup than then. So I was just like, it's all good. Yeah. We're just we're the least makeup guys here, but it was fun. It was good experience and stuff like that. Love Melbourne, good city. Looking forward to being able to perform in there again, and it was good. It was like 1,000 people as well, so it was just a fucking really good set.
So you both hit like 800 people. That's like the biggest you've done, yeah, of course.
I think so. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, when it hits with 800, how does it feel? Like, was it a big noticeable difference, or does it sort of stop after 100? Because we've done 100.
It was. In terms of like the impact of the laugh, I think that's diminishing returns. I think like I remember doing a packed store for the first time, and that was like it hit you like a Mack truck.
Oh yeah.
And then I did the lounge 2 nights, the Comics Lounge in Melbourne 2 nights before, and that's like I think that's like a 500 seat room. I think there might have been like 300 there, and that felt pretty big too, but like not different. And then even Raw, I think, in terms of like velocity of laughs, like it was probably pretty similar. Like I don't think the 3 times as many people equated to like a bigger feeling, but it's just longer. It just like the break you make for laughs just seems like a lot longer time. That's what I found at least. Did you?
Yeah, you just leave a lot like bigger breaks, and it's actually I think it's kind of easier. It's just like if one of them starts laughing, then it's easier for it to become contagious, kind of thing. It starts sparking up all over the place, and so then it kind of begins to roll, and you can carry that wave right into the end earlier. I mean, easier. But yeah, no. It's. I mean, I would say there's actually every 100 that you add, it's a little bit different. Every 100 that you add and stuff like that, it gets a little bit more different.
Yeah, I mean, with 3.5 minutes, I mean, like, yeah, the longer the laughs, that you kind of like, shut up, guys, I've got a fucking another joke. I've got another one.
No, it was a bit of that. Yeah. But like, just even talking over them, just slightly, but keeping them on a metronome, being like, okay, when I'm talking, you got to be quiet now, kind of thing. But it was very little conversation. But yeah, it was fun. I'm looking forward to doing them again. You know what I mean? It's just a nice practice. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a shame that it's only once a year, obviously, but I mean, obviously, hopefully it grows to the point.
No, I mean when I get my own
running your own shit like that, that'd be nuts. But I mean, I've noticed that as well. Like, it isn't such an interesting thing, even with like just Magic Era. So there's 100 people. I can get 100 in there. I had like 100 on the birthday show. If you include like the 15 comics and fucking everyone hanging out, and then it's like, all right, so I can have 80 people. With 80 to 100 people in there, there's almost no way that it doesn't land. Like everything's just always funny. Like everyone's like all on the same page. But then there's times where I have like 50 in there, and like they're just like real courteous. They're just not giving it because they're just not used to being at a stand-up show and like laughing out loud yet.
But but even then, you're saying that like comparatively, like 50 people is still such a good show to have comparatively, like a bad show when Magic first sort of started, when it would be minus 45. You know what I mean? Like,
but it's weird though, right? Because sometimes you can get 10 people who are just super up for it, and those can be great shows. And other times, you're right, you can get 60 people, you walk in like, this is going to be awesome, and for some reason it's just not there. There's something so intangible about a good crowd that way. You just never really know.
I mean, that's something I've noticed, because I have to watch like fucking like 2 hours a show, 2, 4, 6, 10 hours a week of comedy minimum. It's like I've noticed, and the crowds, like people say you can't blame the crowd, but I'm like I can see a noticeable difference because like we had 10, 30 people, right? Like a smaller crowd at Magic, and like they were just all in, and it was like 30 felt like 50. So I was like, all right, but then I've had 50 in there that feel like 10. I'm like, there is something to be said about it, but I mean, I don't know you can't really shift that. Just people need to go to comedy more so that they or learn how to be an audience.
Yeah, and there's also like the MC plays a role in doing that,
Yes.
and even though just the run of acts, and sometimes you just get a bad, roll of the dice where they're there for a certain type of thing, and some people deliver it and some people don't. Or
Well, man, I've been feeling that. I was talking to someone about this. So now that I have this idea, this concept that I think might be true. So Magic itself, right? So on Wednesday, for instance, MC's rolling. It's like a more theatre style MC, like rips the store, but like then when it comes into like a club setting like Magic, it just wasn't, and it worked, but it just didn't work how I'm used to or how I want it to work. And then I was like watching it, and it's like it makes the show feel like a bit more like rigid than it normally is, because it's normally like wild and loose. And now I think the room has a vibe to it and an energy to it that is now anything other than that sort of doesn't work. It's weird that like stepping in there now, there's so many, I have this idea that so many shows have gone in there that the energy of the room is now, it's absorbed it and it's become part of it. And now I think I have to, like I believe the MC now is like one of the most integral parts of the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it has to, like, they create the vibe of the whole show.
There are nights you go to and you see who's MCing and you instantly go, oh, what a relief, or go, fuck, this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
Especially if you're up early. Like, I know some people talk about like re-MCing. You get those people who are up top, who are good crowd work guys and who are warm presences and who are very comfortable, who are like, if the MC doesn't do their job for whatever reason, they can do it for them and go, all right, they didn't quite get this across, but here's the thing, and here's what you are, and it's
the early act sort of covering the I see what you're saying. Yes.
Harry Hackpack Jr. is good at that.
Harry Bullets.
Yeah, Harry Kevlar.
Harry Kevlar.
Yeah, he's really good at just establishing the show, saving it if need be. He's just got like a welcoming energy for the audience.
He's legit. He's when I said you see certain MCs and you go, oh, okay, great. Harry's one of those guys. Harry is a guy that, I mean, for being as fresh into comedy as he is, you see him on a lineup as MC and you go, okay, everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be good. I think.
Yeah.
I think Lokash is as well, like on the DL, like a fucking really good MC. Very, very good at controlling the show and stuff.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If he doesn't if the crowd doesn't give him what he wants, he can be like, fuck all of you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I'm the man.
I'm down with
Please
that.
please welcome Elliott Rovedi.
I love that. I'll
And
always
then
go
you
into
come
it.
up and do the exact same thing. Fuck you. Chin, chin, chin.
Oh man, yeah. Release the footage. Release the footage.
I remember one time, it's so funny how that happens, like,
Skinner cut.
So I remember one night it was the first night I ever did 3 gigs back to back. I did Soul Trap into Foresters when that was where Standout was, into Magic Mike. And Soul Trap went average at best, went to Foresters, and it was after you guys had all started doing it, and Standout, it was meant to be an amazing room and it was always packed out. The night that I did it, it was the headlining act for that night, because it was always built around the headliner, and sometimes it'd be like Becky Lucas, or sometimes it'd be like Cam Duggan or whatever. Was this guy called Herb Greedy, which is one of Ryyz's mates. Ryyz, who books the night. Herb is a musical parody act who does vegan hip hop.
Oh, man.
And Herb Greedy brought his fan base, and my fan base and his fan base have very little crossover. I soon discovered. And they hated me so much. And then after me, Floyd Alexander Hunt went up and crushed. And then I left where they said she go to Magic, but Luke Joseph Ryan was on later, and it was set. The stage was set for a guy like him and meant to do what he does. And so I went to Magic after that, and I remember texting Menzies on the way, and I'm coming off the back of 2 average at best gigs, being like, fuck, I don't know if I can be bothered with this. And Menzies going, Magic sucks. It's not going well. And I'm like, oh God, I'm going to walk into another bomb here. And then I got there and it was kind of starting to pick up a little bit. And then I'm waiting to go on and Luke comes in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how was Standout? And he's like, Yeah, it was good. Like he knew that I had it. He was like, yeah, it was pretty good. And he's like, yeah, you had a rough time, huh? And I'm like, yeah, no, it wasn't great. It's like, but you know what's going to happen is you're going to go up and crush here, and then I'm going to go up and bomb. And he's like, I should just go home now. I should just go home now. That would be the smart thing to do. I went up, had a really great time, came off. And then between me and Luke was Zane Friedler.
Yeah.
And this was like,
This must be
Zane
new
was
magic.
pretty early. This was new magic. Yeah. This was early days of Zane where I think he'd only given him 5.
Yeah.
He took that as a recommendation and did 12.
Okay.
And he ended it with this big thing about like going to drug rehab because he had some kind of addiction. And it was like, you know, I'm not going to indict him on a podcast, but it was something heavy. It wasn't like, you know, anyway. And Syed, now Catherine Martell, was emceeing and goes, and Zane comes off after having a really rough 12 minutes talking about drug addiction. And the MC goes up and goes, Zane Friedler, everybody. And now Luke Joseph Ryan. And Luke comes up and is like, you didn't do anything? Are we going to address what the fuck just happened? And just proceeded to eat dick for 10 minutes. And came up and like, I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. I should have gone home.
Oh man, yeah. So once again, MC is the most important part of the show.
Oh fuck yeah.
Oh man, I can't believe I booked Catherine.
Tommy pointed out something interesting to me. Catherine Martell is actually a character from Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, and like I think Catherine Martell. You're right. It is some Lucas Magnotta shit.
Luca Magnotta from Don't Fuck with Cats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just some like someone that thinks they're being sophisticated with that, and it's like a simple Google search will show that you're being very creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A simple Google show. Yeah, and I mean, obviously, like people are going to know about that. It's like that was a popular show.
Well, I mean, I'm the only person who knows about that.
true.
It seems. But after this podcast, at least 12 more people will
I'm
know
going to clip
about
this,
it.
put $10 to the promo, and thousands will know about it. Just blow his spot up, their spot up. Ugh.
Yeah. Oh, it's an absolute minefield. We had Artie on our podcast yesterday, and we misgendered him about 25 times.
Yeah.
And just now.
And now.
Oh, damn it! It was all done in good graces. Like we explained that we're learning, you know, we're doing our best, kind of thing, and they were very understanding.
Yeah. I was saying, you've watched the show Billions?
Yeah, I love it.
So you know how Billions has that non-binary character?
Yes, very
And
great.
Nobody, no matter how fucking old they are, misgenders them once. Not once. And to the point where I'm sitting at home watching it as an audience member, and they're like, yeah, they need to get their act together. And I'm like, who else are they talking about? Like, who's the second person? Like, no, it's just the non-binary person. I was like, that's the least realistic part about that show about billionaire hedge fund managers is the
so
fact that
funny.
no one gets their agenda wrong once.
Oh, 100%. And I'm sure in that field, there would people just be calling them, like misgendering them on purpose all the time.
For sure.
You can't like unsend an email. You can't be like, whoops, sorry. They will get back to you as quick as possible.
It's interesting that they use a plural. That's the first time I've noticed that they is a sort
That's
of
the
a
first time you've noticed that?
Yeah, I've never thought of it because I'm so accepting. But yeah,
I don't see plurality.
I don't see grammar.
I don't see grammar.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, I've got some stuff to talk about other than
You better, you son of a bitch.
success. I mean, Witz has his solo hour coming up. I mean, this is your first time doing an hour, eh?
It's the first show I've done because I ran it twice in Newcastle. But no, this is the first. It's the same show as that, which was like a month ago.
Yeah, but it's the first time you've done like a full hour by just solo show.
This show is the first time, right? So I've done it twice before in Newcastle a month ago. So it's next. It's this time next week. That'll be the third time I've done an hour on stage.
Oh yeah, I more mean like constructing an hour in total.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. Like especially with your style is very sharp and quick. I mean, how did I mean, I'm going to obviously be there to film it, so I can earn my comedy festival pass. But like, how did? Have you got narrative stuff in there? What's going on in there? Like, because it's
so. I have such a memory of. Do you remember Seizure had that room on Enmore? I think you did it a few times. It's called Blue Fig.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I know
Blue
the
Fig?
room, yeah, but it was on Wednesdays, I think.
And it was Saturdays when I did it, and it was on Enmore Road, and it was really cool. I think you pointed this out because there's so much traffic down Enmore Road, like foot traffic. People would just kind of stick their head in, and it was free, and they would just kind of come in and see every bit. So there was always a big audience there.
Yeah.
But the bad side of that was it was so distracting.
Yeah.
Right. So there was so much shit going on, and there was noise going on outside.
Yeah, don't they have
and
like games and shit in there or something?
And you've got the
They've
sound of
like,
traffic and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, in the venue, they've got like fucking neons and crazy lights.
It's pretty,
on and shit.
yeah, a little bit, but I mean more just like, there was just a lot of stuff going
Yeah.
on. And I remember, this was when I was doing pure one-liners, and the thing that I hated most about one-liners at the time was just having to memorize them all. Because it's like, there's nothing that's going on between them, and it's like, how do I remember 10 minutes of just single-line jokes or whatever that have no thread?
Yeah.
And I remember that night specifically having a 10-minute set and having 6 minutes of it go great, and then the last 4 minutes they just all lost interest.
Oh, wow.
And not in like a terrible way, but I was just like, there was such a marked difference. And that was when I first started doing more and more of like longer than 5-minute sets.
Yep.
And just trying to maintain people's attention for that long when it was just like, and here's the thing about this, and here's the thing about that, and whatever. It was just so tough. And from then on, I remember trying to make more of an effort of like building out like bits, and they still are like collections of one-liners. I'm interested to see what you think. I mean, you would have seen me at Magic doing it with 10-minute sets or 15-minute sets, but they are more like, here's 10 one-liners about relationships, and they vaguely stick together.
Yeah, I've
or
noticed your style build into that instead of like. Basically, the topics are like, it's more cohesive now. So it's like this. They sort of roll through for 10 minutes of this one subject.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like 5 of one subject into a similar, like along the same. It connects.
Yeah,
There's connective tissue there now.
Yeah, basically. So, but what I've kind of done was, I remember it's been a long process because I remember first thinking about it just before COVID kicked off. So Feb 2020, I remember, 2020, and like writing down all the jokes I had on a post-it notes and then just trying to put them together, which I think is the thing everyone fucking does, right? But like try to put them into categories. Like, oh, this is about dating, and this is about sport, and this is about my family. And I was like, those don't quite work, and then move them around. And then COVID kicked off. It's like, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to do this anytime soon. And just like constantly kind of refining and writing new stuff and pulling stuff out. And so I kind of ended up with a series of like, I reckon I had, 15 categories of things, and then I split those categories into 4 chapters that sort of split together. Right. My initial thought, and I thought this was a really great idea that I didn't execute, but I might at some stage, is I wanted to do 4 standalone chapters as opposed to trying to be like, and that leads me to my next topic. Actually, like, and almost like finish 12 minutes of jokes, fade to black, have some kind of thing,
interesting.
And then start again.
I like that, yeah.
And in terms of just, and my thought came from when you hear Chillz talk about that Tales from the Cis.
Yeah.
Remember when he released that as like, he released like 6-8-minute bits or whatever. And his whole thing was like, I looked into the, the data about Netflix and about YouTube. People watch hour-long specials 10 minutes at a time. And so you might as well just release it in the way that, and his thing was like, if I do that, what people do is actually like hop from clip to clip, and they end up watching for 2 hours. Whereas if you just give them an hour of content, they get restless and just give up.
It fucking blows my mind that people like, obviously I love the arts, but it's like, it blows my mind that people, it's the same when people are like, oh yeah, I watched the first half of that movie. I'm like, and then what I hate the most about that is when people comment on something. Like I didn't, I was talking shit on Hannah Gadsby because I'm a, rude cunt, but I mean, I had to watch the full thing before I could talk shit on it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or you'll watch a movie with somebody that texted the entire way through or didn't pay attention, and then they have a strong opinion about the movie, and you're just like, shut the fuck up. You did not.
100%.
You did, and they're like, they're adamant that they watched it. They're like, I watched it. And I'm like, so that's how you watch everything that you have an opinion on. Like, it makes like, pay attention, you idiot. Like, you're so
It's the equivalent of just reading the headline and being like, I get the story.
I got it. And then also just feeling informed at that point, or even just like, I did watch it. And it's like, no, you don't even understand how shallow your inquiry is.
Watching it and experiencing it, 2 different things. It's like people that comment on how much tattoos hurt when they don't have any tattoos.
Oh, man.
It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
My brother gets annoyed at me because when we watch movies together, I'll like put I'll have the volume loud, and I'm like, and he's like, it's too loud. I'm like, this is what we're doing. There's not supposed to be any distractions. Do you know what I mean? You're not supposed to overhear just in case. Like, it's not supposed to be too loud for your Instagram videos. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be watching this shit. You know what I mean? Like, and so like, I'm very much like, if I'm watching something, I try and watch it intently. You know what I mean?
It's not too loud. It's not too loud. It's not loud enough.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
And then but no, I think people's like different attention spans or even what they consider. It's like cleaning as well. When someone says like, you ever live with someone and you're like, this is not clean, and they're like, this is clean. This is like their acceptance of what is like, okay, so you're 10 if from a 1 to 10 of like how clean something is. If you're like, this is when I've cleaned it to a 10, that it may be a sty for somebody else. They may just be like,
it's a 5
you missed
for
all
someone
of,
else.
yes, it's a 5 for someone else. You missed this and you missed that, and like it doesn't always translate to people's expectations with attention or fucking cleaning for that matter.
Well, for anything. But
no, I thought that would be a good way to split it up, is actually do it in the show, because I'm not any kind of thing of like, and this show is about betrayal, would just be bullshit. Like I didn't try to do that or anything. So that was kind of the plan. But anyway, so in terms of memorizing shit, because there's just so many, I've just kind of got it split into 4 chapters in my mind. So it's kind of like chunking stuff up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like 4 15-minute sets, but there's no real clear black breaks. And then I've kind of retrofitted a point about it based on the name of it, but it's not really like, it's not one of those ones where everything suddenly comes together at the end. But
it's just to close it out.
yeah,
Give it
but,
something.
But I think I wrote it yesterday. Actually, like I had the idea for a long time, but I wrote the like what I'll actually say in terms of summing it up and what it's all about and whatever. And I'm pretty happy with it. I'll be interested to see. I think there's something of a point to it, and I think I kind of agree with what I'm trying to say. So I'll be interested to see what people feedback, if any, they have on that.
Yeah. People have feedback all the time.
No, I think that's good. That's an interesting idea, doing it in chapters or something like that.
I think I'd like to do that for a festival show at some stage, because I think it's just kind of true of how I watch stand up. I rarely, unless it's someone I'm super, super into, I'm hard pressed to sit through an hour-long special on Netflix, if I'm honest.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting, actually. Maybe like, my brain's just working with it now. Maybe you could be like doing it like Edgar Allan Poe, like series kind of thing, where like you always release your things as like short stories inside of a bigger book. You know what I mean? And then each like special is a collection of short stories.
That's
kind
cool.
of thing. But they're structured like a joke, but then you release it with like volume 1 and 2 of the inside the mind.
You look at what
thing.
Chappelle's doing now. Like he's putting out 15-minute specials essentially with his Unforgiven and all that kind of stuff. Like he's just putting out 12-minute clips. They all stand alone, but they kind of build off each other a bit. And
Yeah. It's going to be. It is interesting. I mean, obviously he's on Rogan today. Like I was just watching the first half, and he's got a podcast with like the artist formerly known as Mos Def and stuff like that.
Can you hand me my vape there? Yeah, thank you, baby.
is that the Luminary one? I saw he put that up today. The thing about taking mushrooms in Central Park.
Yeah. So all right. So basically, what he's saying, and I haven't even looked into it yet. Like short on time before you guys came around because I'm an alcoholic. But he's putting it out in a time frame. Like it's the length of it is enough for it to go on vinyl. Which
cool.
will be immediately purchased and put up on the wall here. But that is such an interesting concept. Like always thinking outside. Like,
I was telling you about these guys recently. I don't know if you looked into them. There's a band called, do you know King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard?
No.
King Gizzard and I'm surprised that people don't know about these guys. They're a Perth. They're a Perth. I think they're Perth. Maybe Melbourne. Psychedelic rock band, and they're like so prolific. They released 6 albums in a year, I think, one year.
Shit.
But they have this album called Quarters, and it's 4 tracks, and the length of them, they're all, I think, like 13 minutes and 10 seconds long, and it perfectly divides up into the span of a vinyl record. So one side of the vinyl is 26 minutes. So then they've got 2 tracks, 13 minutes each, and it all comes up, and it's quarters because it's 4 quarters of a vinyl.
Fuck,
Very
that's
clever.
Brilliant. Yeah.
I was talking to a friend of ours. We've actually featured Tom and I on the Tremendous podcast feature Australian music, like we new artists and their music on there. One of the artists that we showcased was Ryan Anthony. And he actually had some of his music put on vinyl, and I was talking to him about that because I was like, "How cool would it be to put one of your hours on vinyl or something like that?"
Yeah,
I was like,
for sure.
It's like
Go does it?
Do you have to record it with a certain type of mic?
Nope.
Nope. The recording stays the same, but there are limitations to how you print it, like press it and stuff. Like the length thing is one.
That's a cool idea. Actually, I'd like to do that.
That's what I was thinking. I got the
expensive.
the company. It's like Zenith or Zenith Records with an X, and it's about $1,000. It's like $1,000.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, if you can, I look at everything like making it back. But
merch is so underrated in comedy.
Speaking of which, rocking the tremendous podcast merch at the moment.
Like cleaning and revenge.
We've had a lot of people asking us for t-shirts who I'm pretty sure don't listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
But it's a representation of supporting something, right? And I think so my friend, we played him on the podcast as well, James Dunlop, who was in a band called Light Entertainment. They pressed their first one to vinyl and I bought it. I've got like vinyl press number 2 of their band. And it's just like, it's one of those things I'll have forever. I've listened to it all of about 3 times on a record player.
Yeah.
But it's just like to have that. I've got a Burr record. I when I first started getting into vinyl, which lasted all of about 6 weeks, I thought I would get into collecting comedy records. So I've got Burr live at, no, it wasn't Royal Albert Hall, but one of them. And I put it on and I'm like, this is so great. And after about 2 minutes, I'm like,
I gotta flip it.
Places to go.
No, I love it. Like it's more just the novelty of having it as well, and then having like your having your vinyl and having that kind of thing sold at shows and stuff. I reckon that's fucking cool.
Alan Rutledge putting his comedy show on a DVD.
Yeah.
He sold plenty of those things, so people are like, fuck yeah, I'll have it.
And he just I was telling him you should just leave it in JB Hi-Fi.
That's what he did. Yeah.
That's so funny. People go to buy it and they're like, this isn't coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it just because from DJ, like the DJ world and stuff like that. Like that vinyl there is Ajax, who passed away.
I was looking at that. That's fucking cool.
So that's like sort of a celebratory, like a remembrance vinyl for him. So it's a triple vinyl. You open it up, double vinyl. There's like photos of him all through it. Like there's like fold outs and all that stuff. And he was a mate of mine. So then, like, I saw that in JB Hi-Fi. I was like, "Fuck!" Didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, that's got to go on the wall. There's there's signed vinyls, like signed Deadmau5 triple album, all that shit.
That's the thing that people say about vinyl. The people who are really into it, and I get it, is the idea of having like a physical manifestation of something in your hands that you love. It's like, hey, here's this thing. And you're right. It's like, and again, I never really got that into vinyl, but I saw friends did it and I quite envied their passion for it. Yeah. But it's like, you read the liner notes, you have a look at the city, you hold a thing in your hands. Like, I think there's something so invaluable to that, especially now when music especially is like almost monetarily valueless. You know what I mean? Like every song ever written and recorded is worth $12 a month.
Yeah.
Compared to you couldn't get a record for that back in the day. You had to prove, you had to put your money down to say, this is how important this is to me.
Yeah.
And as a result, I think you care about it more because you have to. You'd be like, well, I've seen that I put time and money aside for that thing. It must mean more to me than just, I'll check out another playlist on Spotify. Yeah,
that is an interesting discussion where the accessibility has become so high. Like it's just every song is now free on Spotify, pretty much. And like you can hear every song ever made.
It's another step of loyalty today because you're actually having to buy the physical copy. Plus there's like cool things like the Cheech and Chong thing used to put like a big weed paper in there. You can smoke with. You can put all these cool little
merch.
Yeah, like I had a friend who put their band, some of their band on vinyl, and the way they distribute it was they had a friend who was a dealer. Yeah. And every time you bought an ounce, you got a free free vinyl.
That's fucking sick.
So like they had all these people like buying all these weed smokers just fucking getting their vinyls with it and stuff like
genius,
that.
Man.
Yeah.
I mean, my love for it comes from like the audio depth of it. There is a depth that you don't really get on digital, which I mean sounds fucking.
That's what I love about the jokes as well. Like I listened to some Prior on vinyl. And you can hear the crackling and stuff like that, and all like even the clinking of the glasses sound cool and shit like that. And I was like, this would be cool to have. Like you really have to crush it. Imagine you put a show on vinyl where you bombed or you middled out kind of thing.
That's Dice. Yeah, the day the laughter died.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, admittely, he didn't try with any material. He walked in with no. But if you've been cultivating this material and it sucks, it's just like
no. But it's not like it's you press literally it. You. It's not press it. But it's not like all right. Go. It's like you send them the file, right? Like
of course,
you'd edit the laughs in later.
I was just trying to make the art jokes.
Man, what were we talking about the other day? Oh, yesterday when we saw the full shift of subject here, but this Jake Paul thing with the Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, you're yeah, man. That's
I mean, Elliot here does boxing and fucking training and check that out. But
street fighting.
Really.
Not really. My girlfriend is she's the boxer. 2-0. Tiana Ugachaga Chagare. But she's killing it. But we had this Jake Paul thing happen just recently with Floyd Mayweather. But the thing is, he's supposed to be fighting. He's fighting Logan Paul.
Yeah.
And then Jake Paul is talking shit, trying to like steal his brother's thunder a little bit.
Yeah, well, this is the thing with it. Like from what I can see, obviously Jake Paul's a fucking little cunt, but it's all marketing for him. He had like merch ready to go. He's doing like a TikTok before, and he's like, I'm gonna stay tuned. I'm gonna take Floyd's hat. So it's all designed for it. And then he's got merch immediately afterwards, like Got Your Hat merch. But what I did love about it is like immediately after he takes his hat, like he goes to run away, but there is like 15 massive black dudes standing around him so that he can't get anywhere, and just immediately gets grabbed. Like his silhouette moved past him. He was running that fast, like away, but just got grabbed immediately. He's just... Yeah, and like you could see the momentum just go. What?
I think he ate some punches and stuff like that. It was funny. It was
Floyd clocked him, and like I saw on one of the footage from the ESPN posted a clip of it, and what I did notice is they took out the audio mutes for a bit, and it's when you look at the other footage, that's the sound of like the clack of Floyd actually clocking him.
I think he did get a black eye, something like that.
Yeah,
but yeah, Floyd reacted like it was the only hat that he had. Like he chased him like it was a kid in school, and he's like, "That's my dad's gonna kill me if I don't come with it." But it was like he was like also, I think his hair wasn't ready. His hair was like wasn't up to par.
I haven't seen him with that hair before.
Because he reacted like a fat guy that got his shirt lifted, where he was like, "Put it down," kind of thing. He's like all of his confidence went away.
Yeah,
and it is weird seeing a guy who's the best in the world, but is also I'm going to have a child that's 6 years old that's taller and stuff like that, and he's just like flailing around all these like big security guys that look like they would be the champs of the world, but he's just the baddest motherfucker. He's just comes in a pocket size kind of thing.
Man, it is wild that he even like attempted that, but then like I did notice like when he gets him, like you can even see just like the precision in that whole scuffle. Like there's 30 people, massive people around holding him, trying to like covering everyone, and then like he's off to the side, like angling up. You can see him like getting angles on him already.
Floyd,
like boom, yeah, like throwing in like still getting angled jabs in there, and then when he hits him with the hit that actually connected, like on the eye there, like as soon as it like he ducks and gets him, like just hits him hard, and you hear the clack. One of Jake Paul's crew pushes him and like pushes him immediately, and then another one of his crew pushes him back in. He's like, get back in, and it's like, and he's still like in that circumstance, in the chaos, still just laser focused, like, and gets him straight in the eye. Like,
yeah. It's the one good thing. It's the one thing that he's very, very good at. Is punching people and finding the mark.
Yeah, but man, like Jake Paul's making a big scene about it, but there is a clip of him, which I mean, I was going to play, but fuck it, I'll just cut it over, where he's like getting pulled away and getting pushed into like a ward closet thing for his own safety, and he's like, "Got your hat." He gets his like voice cracked.
Got your hat.
And it's like, oh man, there's no way to be fucking, balling out on that fucking clout now.
His voice did break, kind of thing, yeah.
Got your hat. And it's after he's been punched, and he's like holding his head, and he's like, it's like, oh dude, you just got fucking rocked.
It was pretty
One
bad.
punch nearly ended it.
He's gonna sell so many Got Your Hat t-shirts. He's gonna make so much fucking money out of this. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And it's like, and I'm part of the problem, but everyone's like, it's fucking bullshit that everyone, like, we're giving these guys attention. It's like, yeah, including you right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm annoyed we're talking about it right now. You know that stupid robot thing, the Jake robot thing, that he has show up to the weigh-ins and stuff like that?
Oh, that was stupid, yeah.
That thing it's honestly demonic looking. Yeah. It's fucking, it's terrifying.
It's so dumb. And is someone in that?
I think so, yeah.
Someone must be in that.
Have you seen those guys that
push it over?
I think there's some around here. I've always seen them you see them in Vegas and stuff, the guys that have those really impressive looking Transformer outfits. Yeah. It's pretty amazing what you can do with
the technology and money.
I don't even know if it's technology. I think it's just like really good like tailoring. It's just it's all just stitched together and shit.
Yeah, just fucking nerds on the sewing machine. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, like, obviously this Logan Paul fight, which is like in June 6th, so a month. I mean, that's going to fucking be whatever, like Floyd will romp him, but and no one gives a fuck about the Logan Paul side now. Like now, I just want to see Jake Paul get fucking flogged again.
He hasn't
by
been.
Floyd. Like,
It's just, I don't know. It's interesting how those guys have just created a mark. It's to be fair, they're just doing what Mayweather did for his entire career, was become so hateable that people will pay in the hope you get fucked up.
Yeah,
that's all they're doing. And that's the thing with Jake especially. Is just like the matchmaking is going to be so important in terms of like, how do we make sure these people are good enough that all the people that hate you will tune in to get you see you get fucked up, a la Ben Askren, but aren't good enough that they'll actually beat you. Because he can't jump straight to Connor and get fucked up. Like, he's got to build his way up.
Can we? This is so annoying.
No, we're talking about it. It is annoying. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
The next topic. wait, no. I don't want to. I don't give a fuck. But
It's all about the clips, baby.
Yeah.
That'll get some views. COVID restrictions on the fucking conspiracy theories. You got any on that? People are reckoning that because obviously we got one case and now we've got restrictions again.
I think it is interesting the way they approach it, where they're like, guys, come in, make sure you get tested, and then they completely shame you. You're like responsible for shutting down an entire city, like, or entire state kind of thing. They're like, look, just come forward. We just want to make sure we get as much testing. And then one person comes forward and they're like, you have just shut down all the progress that we've made. You idiot kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's like
they're basically getting you to snitch on yourself.
And they always say on the news, one person in this suburb, and like, like a bunch of people are going to know who that was and stuff like that. It's like,
you guys notice John got a new barbecue the other day. I'm not saying anything, but he seemed pretty happy with the deal he got. And we haven't seen him for about 13 days now.
Exactly. So it's like, it's fucking, it's a tricky, so the way they're doing it kind of thing is interesting. It's like,
I never thought about the guy trying to hide it. He's like, I got a new barbecue. You guys should come over. Yeah, what are you doing tonight? No, what about like May 17th?
Yeah. I mean, that is the worst part about it, where they basically list all the shit you've done. Like when you get caught, I mean, fucking hell. I mean, when you get pinged, they're like,
that's the whole thing. It's a shame.
This is where we went. This is where we went. This is where we went. It's like, dude, just like, I mean, obviously you have to say that so people know, but it's like, you've really got to start living your best life in these circumstances. You got to start doing some fun shit. Otherwise, if you do get pinged, then it's like, brothel, sex shop, brothel. It's like, dude, like someone's gonna fucking like. You got to really like this one that got pinged. The couple went to see him film like some terrible film at the cinema, and I was like, I judged him on it. I was like, why the fuck did you go to the cinema to see that?
I love that they mention the title. This is the whole thing. Like they break it. They don't have. There's no news. It's just this person was living their life and got caught in some a bad situation, and then they're like, and they had the linguine when they fucking. It's just like, shut the fuck up, man.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'll never get tested. But I mean I should probably have to cut that out. But it's it is. I don't know how you get. There's no way around it to like not get your shit spilled out if you get pinged. But like, I mean, 4 barbecue shops is fucking crazy. Like
in terms of conspiracy, I don't know.
Well, the conspiracy behind it is with it all, like every like Mother's Day, Anzac Day, all that sort of stuff. I think Anzac Day might have got a pass, but there was a few other ones where it's like right before it, they're like, oh, we've got a case or some like restrictions are in, so like less people out to try and. So the idea behind the conspiracy is that they are minimizing group activities on big weekends.
But nothing's really like, it's just masks and maximum 20 people.
No dancing
Inside.
Indoors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No. So then basically
those big Mother's Day dance parties that happen. Everyone's getting on pingers and dancing with their mum doing the nut bush.
You have no idea how close to home that hits. But yeah, it is. I mean, I understand it. Like the no dancing thing, obviously, it limits nightclubs and stuff like that, which I'm grateful for because the less other forms of entertainment, the more successful my business is. So
look at you fucking traitor. How long did you spend in the nightclub business?
True. I mean, that is a very. I mean, it sucks because like I see my friends losing.
Also, no one's like, should we go to the nightclub or should we go to open mic comedy tonight? What do you reckon? Which should we?
Yeah, true. But I mean, yeah, when they can spend their money elsewhere, they usually do. But when we had a good run there when there was no dancing and just comedy. Beautiful.
I couldn't believe how quickly comedy came back.
It was doing quite well. Yeah,
like,
it was quite inspiring.
Like when was Crown was back? Like June earlier?
Yeah, so I mean, Julia. I was talking to Julie Law. Is it Julia Lawless?
Julia, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. At the festival the other day, and I think she had the first show back at Oatley or something like that, and in Sydney.
I thought Crown was the first one back.
I mean, first actual show. I'll throw it out there, but Crown was definitely the first like show. The like comedy show back that I saw, and like everyone was down there. Like,
it was like fucking 80 comic. It was a hotspot.
Yeah,
it was a hotspot. It was definitely not okay.
No,
it's always a hotspot.
Yeah,
it's a potential hotspot for a lot of things.
Yeah. There's always something.
Yeah, that's
on the
actually. Yeah, I'd be happy to get pinged if there's an outbreak having gone to the brothel, but please don't tell anyone I went to Crown Comedy.
Yeah, you're done with that. But yeah, I mean, it is.
Oh, have you seen this? So when I went to one of the first times I went back to Crown, I was wanting to say, I was like, I wonder if the food's any good there. I wonder if I should get dinner there.
Nope.
No, the answer is no.
Yeah.
But I went to look it up on Google reviews or whatever.
Yeah.
And have you seen the Lewisham Hotel has like 1.3 stars on Google? Have you seen
man.
this?
No.
Yeah. So if you look up Lewisham Hotel on Google, it's got like 1.3 stars. And I started reading the reviews and they're all like, oh, I caught the manager smoking meth in the break room. All this shit. Like, so one of the bartenders threw a drink at me. It's all this
No
shit.
way.
I was like, what is that? And then a few of them started posting those kinds of reviews, hashtag something mafia or something.
Okay.
And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I Googled it. And what they were hashtagging was a local record producing, like a record label that specializes in hip hop, I think. And they put on a show at the Louis Hotel. And they got this guy who was 17 to come from Gosford to perform. It was going to be his first night ever performing.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let him in because it's a licensed venue. Like, he can't come in. They're like, does he have a parent or guardian here? And they're
So they
like,
fucking bombed
he's
him.
here performing very offensive hip hop. No, his parents aren't here. And they were like, well, he can't come in. And then they vlogged the whole thing and put it out to all their followers. And all of them like, fuck the Lewisham Hotel. And they started
Shit.
bombing the reviews in the Louis
Oh,
Hotel.
man.
And my favorite thing is they just don't seem to give a shit. It's like, yeah, 1.5 seems fair.
Yeah, I was surprised with that.
That was great.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I fucking have a massive gripe with that place. Just mainly, like when I went there after the lockdown and stuff, I was like not drinking, and it was like I didn't notice until the second time I was getting charged $7.50 for a fucking, or maybe $4.50. I think $7.50 for a fucking lemon lime and bitters, and I was. Like the guy who works at the bar and I think like runs it is a massive like islander.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Yeah. And all I could think about is like, if I could, I would glass you with this fucking $7.50 soft drink. You cunt.
Probably be the last lemon lime bitters that you have. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would end up with a crushed skull.
He'd use the glass that you impaled into his head to cut you up.
I think it would just like, it's like that Unbreakable. Like it just never fucking doesn't even touch him. Just completely shatters around him or just turns to dust as it hits his chest. And he's just like, have you signed in? Like, yeah, but fucking dogs.
Yeah.
And like, you can't be doing that.
So what happened? So did you bring it up with him? Was there a...
No, he knows. I looked him in the eyes as I went to tap it, and I was like, and he just looked at me like.
So how long did this go on for?
I got two, and then I left immediately. As soon as I realized what it was, $15 for two soft drinks. I was like, can't.
That's unbelievable. What are you going to
Can't
do?
be doing this.
This podcast. Are you going to be doing it in clips? Are you going to post? You can't post the whole thing in totality.
Yeah, post the whole thing. Then
No, you can't post the whole thing in entirety.
I'm doing all of it, whole thing in entirety. Then clips, then stories, then.
Tom, this guy doesn't want to edit. This is the fucking.
No, I'm gonna edit. It's good. I've got Jack editing.
I got
Wesley
one
Snipes.
ass cheek off this couch before the conversation turned to glassing islanders. I don't know. Is that a commentary on what you guys talk about around me or just my sixth sense for getting cancelled?
Yeah.
I'm like, get out of frame right now.
It's not always a glass.
Yeah, you definitely shouldn't post all of this.
This is
This is so long. How long?
It's so long, and it's also not all.
It's only been an hour.
but we're still figuring it out. I reckon.
Let's be honest. No one's listening.
Oh, you watch?
I've watched.
No, I'm on it.
I lived it. I reckon there's a lot of interest in at least editing it at the start, and then like maybe the better that the
coming in at fading into a good point. It's always a good option.
I've got some ideas for it, but I mean, we don't need to talk about how I'm going to do it on here.
Do you have any like interstitial ideas? Like, because we do fake ads on our podcast and stuff like that. Is there anything that you might be doing in between? Like, or
No, so the idea behind it is to keep it similar to, because eventually next time I do it, like probably next week, will be live.
Okay, so
live streamed.
You're going to go full Rogan and just have
Essentially, yeah. Well, now there's a gap in the YouTube market for it, so I mean, he's not on there, and like
and you are the man to fill it.
No, but like that style and format is obviously works.
I love the way you think, and it's why you do as well as what you do.
Yeah, I
You
just take everyone's ideas and make them my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you also have like really unrealistic self-confidence.
Yeah, so
I was thinking we'd set up a call with Schultz, just the five of us. So I'm like, sure,
It
okay.
worked.
No, it didn't.
Yeah. I mean,
It worked. That's it. That's the confidence. We're like, fuck, I pulled it off. No, you didn't.
I organised it. It did get organised.
Yeah, it's the I think we were talking about this yesterday. It's like the Sean O'Malley or the Chael son in of comedy, where it's just undefeated mindset. It's like, what about this footage of you losing? And it's like,
20-0, 21-0. Yeah.
doctored.
Yeah, 100%. Just never admit that you lost, that you were defeated.
What happened to the shot? Why did you follow up on it after he cancelled the first time?
No, man. Like I was watching his stories and he's like just getting cooked and loose out at fucking Miami, and I was like, yeah. I mean, sure, maybe you might be a little bit too busy to be calling up 5 fucking Australian comedians who are just like
Or he would
at
have been
6 in.
drunk enough to do it.
Yeah,
that's a
well,
good
that's
point.
the thing. I think he might have been partying, and that's when he agreed. So then it's like, but yeah, I mean, the idea behind it is, which is what I was talking about there, is, I mean, realistically, there was no real point. I mean, the point obviously is to, get advice and shoot advice around and try and get see if we can get anything out of it. But realistically, I mean, it would be better if I get this popping and like we get the tremendous pop and everything popping, then it's like, to jump in, zoom in. Then we've got something for him to join in on. And I mean, and the contact's been made now. So it's like, I mean, the way that will work is like, look, here's what we've got. Here's what our listeners, you don't need them, but you want to, because I mean, he does so much for, the comedy landscape. There's no, I mean,
If we still want to hit up someone for some advice, I reckon Shooter Williamson's got some free time.
oh man, I'm going to sign him. Hey, I'm going to sign him.
Take us all down with you.
Again. I was saying that to Neil because we were getting ready for Neil and friends talking about it, myself, Steph and Neil, and I was like, I mean, obviously his response is fucking ludicrous, but I mean, think about how long it took Andrew Taylor to like unsign him, and like the festival to just be like, to cut him out. Like they're like, I mean, he's done so much wild shit, and it's like, all right, now it's finally like enough. And it's like you signed and booked, and people are going to see the loosest Aussie bloke ever. What the fuck did you expect?
Yeah.
But it's like, oh yeah, but I mean, there is a line, and obviously it's crossed, but
This was the video that broke the management's back, which is right where you are with the old Skinner net, catching up all of the dropped acts
all
from
doing
the
it myself.
yeah.
But I mean, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, realistically, is it a level similar where it's like you can just do it yourself? You don't need any of that.
What
shit.
about this? What about you want
I
to
got
go?
an idea after yours.
Yeah, I was going to say, what about having him
Headline
offering not headlining? It's 2-part contract. Part headlining, second part is celebrity boxing match. With
very
another
good.
comedian. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people that want to represent him at the
Winner
moment.
gets uncancelled.
But I was thinking, how would you feel about having a ring in the middle of Magic and having all the comics perform in the ring, and then the ropes come up? And then a challenger comes out, and it's a part boxing match, and then whoever doesn't get knocked out gets to headline.
I wouldn't fucking... Shooter Williamson would beat the shit out of me. Do you know, like, I would not go anywhere near.
You're like, is that drug testing? It's like, he's on all of it. He's doing coke in the corner. It's sprinkled on the ropes.
He's twirling meth right now in the ring. Yeah. Wait, is that a microphone? No, he's just got a meth pipe in his
What
hand.
is his
It's like,
coach
fuck.
injecting into his armpits?
I mean, instead of testing him for steroids, they're just like, oh, he's done everything. Steroids is the only thing he's not on.
It's Olympic approved, but very discouraged.
Man, and what was your idea?
My idea was that you start the Cancel Club podcast and you just get on people that have been cancelled.
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm gonna do it. I would have him on this. I didn't give a shit.
Skinner keeps trying to snitch on comics just so we can get him on the show. He's like, why won't they let him go?
I started trying to cancel people from the shadows. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But I mean, you know what? It's an interesting thing, like how he's handled that. Because like I was talking to Witz earlier, like as we're getting coffee, about like what it's like to get cancelled. Like it is fucking intense. So like I can't even imagine on that scale of things how like the way that he's obviously got fans still, which is good because like and it's his fan base. It's not it's different to obviously potentially losing the business, but then like to be able to be such a high drug addict and then like such a avid drug addict, and then to get all that on you, and then to just be like passionate drug addict, enthusiastic, just to be like running stories still and just being like, fucking who gives a shit, cunts, we're having a great day, like I don't care what's going on, and then it shifts to the next story is him like, shit's tough, man, shit can be tough, and then the next one's like,
a mate of mine, I remember when when Sydney lockout laws came in. Some girl was posting on Facebook about how fucked it was because she worked for like Ministry of Sound or something. So she was in this big nightclub community, and she was like, this is bullshit, this is blah, 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 blah. It's going to ruin the music industry, whatever. And my mate was in just like a band, and he was like, it's not going to ruin the industry, live band is still playing. Like he had no idea what he was talking about, to be fair. But he was just like, he was trying to knock this girl back. And he was mates with her from like school circles or whatever. But then the rest of her friendship group are all like deep in the nightclub EDM community. Yeah. And they just fucking savaged him. Like, because he said, oh, the lockout laws aren't that bad.
That was probably in that thread.
Very possibly. Like they were telling him to kill himself and stuff. And I remember him telling me, he's like, please don't tell anyone about this because I don't want anyone to bring it up.
Now you're talking.
I haven't said his name, but like I remember reading the comments and being like, yeah, this would ruin me. You know when you like getting even just anonymous Facebook wars back when I was a kid, and like people say some hurtful shit to you and it stings. And that's just on you, random guy online. What if it's actually, no, you are a bad person.
Yeah, if it's like there's genuine like
hatred for you. And maybe you deserve it, but still it'd be so rough.
Yeah, man, I used to, which I mean isn't great, but like I used to like cyberbully people all the time. Like
trolling.
Vigorously, like real harsh, to the point where people like would follow me for it, but also my own friends would be like, fucking like, this is too much. That like it's literally like a gladiator situation where people are like, cut the fucking head off, and I'm like, I'll do it.
Yeah,
I loved it, but obviously it's not good for business, and it hurts people's feelings. I've learned. I've become an adult.
Wait, do you have a fart mic?
No.
A mic that I can fart into?
Definitely not.
What about this one?
Not. Other people need to use that. Just fight into the couch and move the headphones away from your ass.
I'm not going to fight. I was just going. I might save it until I want to interrupt you with something, and then I'll just cut you off.
Well, that's right. I think we got to wrap anyway. Get wits out of here. Man, all right. So what have you got coming up? We got your show 15th
and 16th of May at the Factory Theatre, Sydney Comedy Festival. Container.
All right. Fuck. It's going to get hot in there.
Will it?
Yeah,
I haven't been in there before. Have you seen? Okay, so we kind of talked about this before, but what are you from the shows that you've seen this festival season? What are your picks?
I mean, I think obviously Ryyzn, I'm a big fan of. He's awesome dude, unique voice, but fucking like it's like it's coming together. It just rips, and like in 5 years, that's gonna be fucking mental. Like his ability to just put shit together and like be completely naturally on stage so quickly. Like it's only a few years in, just immediately just like doesn't give a fuck about any of that. There's no like, he has like the fear and like obviously nervousness of like the actual stage thing, but then when like he's got such confidence in himself, he's just like, I don't give a fuck, I'll rip it.
I saw him opening at the Lounge, and again that's 400 people, and he was just so at home on stage. It was crazy.
He belongs there. And fucking Amos Gill's fucking hour was just like phenomenal, dude. Just like it just so seamlessly weaves and like precision, but also like it feels like loose enough that it's not like rigid. Oh man,
he's got a line. I'm only. No, I won't. I don't think it's been. I'll tell you afterwards. But he's got this. He does this whole bit about like China invading Australia. It's so funny.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant.
So man. Good.
Hopefully he gets it filmed and like puts it out.
You know what's cool? I mean, he did that. Lokesh was saying he did that at the Enmore for the gala. But some of the stuff you'll see that Amos has put online. Did you see Jim Jeffries' last special on Netflix? Intolerant.
Yeah,
seen that? No. The set is amazing, like the lighting behind it, whatever. And Amos opened for him, and so Amos got his set filmed as well, and it looks so cool. It looks amazing. Like you just can't put a price on that. A really good production special.
Yeah.
He just had to throw a curtain over the Jim Jeffries in the back. Everything was great, except there's like this beach towel over there.
Who else? Fucking Hutton's is fucking real good, man. I mean,
you haven't seen Heggie yet, have you? This is next week.
Yeah, he's next week. I'll see him next week, but I mean that's gonna rip. You've seen the whole.
I saw
hour.
Heggie in Melbourne, unreal. I'm gonna try and see it again in Sydney. So good.
I've never in live seen Heggie do an hour.
Seriously?
Yeah,
man. I've seen the last two, and then the other one's on video. Like he's like such a gun.
Oh, he's nuts, man! But I can't wait to see it like live in person finally. I mean, even just like I produced the live mid-flight brawl at Magic, 100 people sitting in there.
That looks so cool.
Yeah, a few things I was
bummed I missed that.
Yeah.
But just the way him and Cody work together, like to see it live, is like the way they seamlessly bounce off each other. I can't think of the fucking word. Chemistry is like phenomenal, man. It's like a little piece of like magic in itself. It's a performance there, like the weaving of it. And so,
speaking of chemistry, the Tremendous podcast.
Yeah, Elliott's making meth now.
Yeah. Buying Tremendous meth. The Tremendous podcast with Tom and EJ. You can check that out every Thursday. Quick plug. But yeah, no, it's a podcast that we're growing with. It's an Australian group. It's a duo. We're the Black Star of Australian comedy. It's Mos Def and Talib Kweli.
Definitely not. But it is a great podcast. I mean, the most recent episode, I'm going to be careful there. How do I weave around that? You talk about the incident that happened at Magic's 4th birthday, and like it's such a great breakdown because you have obviously the audio. And something I found out about that, which obviously I didn't hear mainly because I was drunk, but also because I was at the back of the room. When you're watching the show, you couldn't hear what she was saying at all. Only he could hear it realistically, and the people around her. So from the back of the show, and I mean, even I'll have to watch the footage. I've still got it, but you can't hear what she's saying.
No.
Well, going back to crowd work as well, it's one of those things. It seems easy to do, but you see the guys that do crowd work a lot. They always repeat what the person says. What do you do? I'm a doctor. You're a doctor.
You're a doctor.
Yeah. Everyone's on board now, and that's the same thing. I mean, we talk about it on the podcast, but Elliott makes fun of the way she looks. She's sitting in the front row and no one knows what she looks like.
She's literally sitting at the front row. No one can see her face. And I'm like, isn't this a great joke?
I mean, we got the gist of it. She's got a chin, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it is a wild, that episode specifically, you know, I have to go back and catch up.
We want to do more like post-mortem of stand-up stuff.
Yeah.
And we were trying to think about, you might have ideas for this, but we need to kind of crowdsource, but like what could we do, challenges we could set ourselves that we could then review on the podcast. So we go back. I mean, I was even thinking, I don't know how keen you are to do this, but in terms of I want to work on crowd work stuff, like maybe we have to do a week where we go up with no material and we play it back and see where we went. And it's going to be bad, but that's going to be the thing. That's going to be the learning process.
Yeah. Or like have a topic of comedy that you have to go up and write jokes for that week. And that's the challenge. And you come back and you see, like, have the audience decide, have the listenership decide which one of you guys won the
topic
material
about the topic. I like that, challenging yourself, but obviously you have to wait till the hour's done. But
I got a line in my hour about Jared Hayne. I'm going to be very interested to see how it goes.
Oh man, that's very recent.
Yeah.
Fresh. I mean, that's the beauty of being able to write quick and
Tommy
like
Quickums.
Tommy Quickums.
That's better than Tommy
Witcombes.
Tommy Tambler. Yeah, Tommy Tambler.
But yeah, man, it's, the breakdown thing's very good. I like that a lot. I mean, definitely do it with the crowd work style.
I think like you look at a lot of the podcasts that we watch and we listen to, like Joe Rogan, Andrew Schultz, Tom Segura, like those guys have earned enough license throughout their careers that when shit happens, I want to know what Schultz says about it. I want to know what Rogan says about it. Whether I agree with it or not, when fucking Trump runs for president or when Biden becomes president or when COVID lockdowns happen, I'm kind of like, I wonder what Rogan's take on this is.
Yeah.
And it's like, we haven't earned that yet. Like, we're just two dudes with microphones. But what we can give people an insight into is like a really weird time in stand-up like as in a weird point of a comedian's career. No one knows anything about amateur comedy outside of the scene. You talk to people, they're like, I didn't know shit about it. Do you remember, you might not remember this, but I remember like the first time I ever signed up for an open mic was at Old Magic, and I signed up on the Google Doc, and then the lineup came out, you posted it, and I wasn't on it. And I was like, oh, fuck, did I not press submit or whatever? And I messaged you and I was like, hey man, just wondering, like, did I do something wrong? Did I not click the right thing? Is it for next week that I signed up for? And he's like, dude, I have 20 spots, 60 people signed up tonight.
Yeah.
I have 80 people sign up some weeks. It's like, there are 60 people in Sydney on Wednesday night signing up to do 4 minutes of open mic comedy. That blew my mind.
Those were those were wild times, man. And I do not miss it. But
and even then you talk about things like Hutton, right? Like Hutton to us is pseudo celebrity stuff.
Yeah.
No one knows who these people are. Even though to us they're some of the best comedians in the country and no one knows about them.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like a lot of my friends, which like a lot of the nightclub industry had no idea that. Even I really didn't know about the comedy in the country at all.
Yeah.
Except for like 3 people like Meadow Kind and stuff like that. fucking Peter Hellier and shit like that.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. But you don't know them because of the stand-up. You know them because, and that's why,
TV.
you know, people will go and people will pay a lot of money to see those guys do stand-up, even though that's not what they're best at, and there
Yeah.
are people better at it than them.
Yeah, it is interesting, man. When that's the whole goal of what I mean. Obviously now it's a business, but the whole goal of this and also like magic is to just like once people see it, they're like, holy shit, this is mad. This is happening, and it's like, yeah, it's every fucking week, all week, every week. No cowards, let's do it. Boom, 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 boom. And it's like you can come see it all the time. Like it's a weird thing where it's not at the forefront of people's minds. Like music, you can listen to all day, every day. You hear it in an elevator, it's always on. But then like you can't hear just comedy all the time, so it makes it a little bit more niche and tougher to get people to go to.
I mean, podcast probably the closest thing, right?
Yeah,
It is something like it is a weird thing because you're essentially all you're doing is watching somebody talk on stage, but there are these rules to being an audience member and even like how to conduct yourself and stuff like that at a show. And a lot of people think, oh, this guy's just talking on stage, I just got to sit there. I know how to do that. But like, you know, there's like little things where it's like knowing about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Makes it so much better. It's like or having context about who this person is, and then that's before you even get to the show as an audience member. You know what I mean? And
man,
like, there's a whole bunch of stuff where I mean, it just sort of sensibly is just like, oh, this guy's talking on stage. We sit here. That's great. And then some people confuse it by thinking that they can talk as well. You know what I mean? It's just like there are rules, but not everyone knows them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, the idea is to educate everyone, and I mean, some people just will refuse to be educated.
But I remember talking to someone about this where he was like, think about what we're trying to make people do, what we're trying to make audience members do. It's like, have you ever been to just a random band night? And I'm like, well, I've gone to ones where my friends are playing, but I've never gone to one that's like, oh, they're doing live music at that place, and I guess I'll go check it out. It's like, yeah, so imagine not only that, but there's a random band night, and there's a heavy metal band, followed by a pop punk band, followed by a singer-songwriter, followed by a DJ,
Yeah.
and half of them are terrible.
Yeah.
And you were going to pay
is that.
$20 to go watch it.
Yeah.
You're going
Yeah.
to do that? Fucking no.
Yeah, it's a tough sell.
But then there is just something also kind of intangible about the you know, no pun intended, the magic of it all. Like you see some stuff that just, not all the time, but sometimes you see some stuff which is just like, I don't know, it's so memorable, it's so different. Like how often do you get to see someone have two glasses thrown at them on like a random night in a upstairs from a pub? Like it's just, it's an interesting art form.
Yeah, it is beautiful, man. And like that's the thing. Like there are moments where it gets like there is like so many shows I see, you know, but it's like there are certain ones where there's a certain height that it reaches to, where all the energy of the audience combines and the performers and the whole show, not just one act, the entire show just gets to this like weird, like there's a little top level where it's like it's always like 10, but sometimes when it gets to like there's a like 12, 13 range that like when the whole show comes together right at the end, and like that's what I'm addicted to, and I chase and I try and create constantly, but it's like fucking nearly impossible. But
And even then, like when I was in Wollongong, I was with Muggleton and Seren, who've been doing it forever. And the Muggleton used to run one of the only open mics in Sydney for a long time. And they talk about nights. Like, remember the night that happened?
Yeah.
Remember the night that Cambo did that bit and people laughed so hard, the bartenders were like, what the fuck just happened upstairs?
Yeah.
They thought there was an earthquake or something. There are those things where just every now and then in the scene, and it will make no sense to anyone else, but we hear about Sam Cambo doing a bit so good that the glasses shake.
Yeah.
And that means something to so many people.
it's so good. It's good. Goosebumps thinking about it, man.
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
It is, and in saying that though as well, with like, you know, the amount of different different kinds of acts, like it could be hip hop, it could be whatever kind of thing. You don't even post the lineup anymore of comedy because like a lot of the time people aren't buying a ticket to the lineup, they're buying a ticket to the experience that you're giving them in that room. They know that every time they go there, it's going to go off. It's going to be a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah,
I'm
that's the
part of the
idea
experience.
behind it is because like Wit said here, like no one knows these guys. So it's
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
They like unless it's fucking Will Anderson. they're like,
My mind was Will Anderson too. Because you're right, they see it's not Will Anderson, they're like, oh, I guess I want to go this
Must be
week.
shit.
Maybe he'll be there next week.
yeah.
And I remember doing that back in the day before I knew stuff. I was like, oh, I wonder if anyone is on that. I remember when I was in New York, I went to a show at the Stand. So this was like 2014. So I wouldn't do stand up for like
Home of
3 years
Legion of
later.
Skanks.
Yeah, Big J Okerson was on, and I had no fucking clue who he was. And I looked at the lineup, and it meant nothing to me. And you know, they're handing out flyers that have got Chris Rock and Jerry Seinfeld and Louis C.K. on them. And you do some Google and like, these guys haven't set foot in this room. I mean, I think Louis actually used to go to the Stand a bit, but anyway, and you just see some guy and he's got, fingerless gloves and a leather jacket on, and you're like, who the fuck's this guy? And then years later, you're like, fuck, it's Big J.O. because I know who that guy is.
Yeah.
So I saw Duncan Trussell perform in Sydney years ago.
So dope.
And some American guy opened for him, and I remember he had this great line. And years later, I was watching Al Del Bene. I was like, fuck, it's him.
Oh, wow.
That's the guy.
Did Robin Williams performed in the same venue, like in Magic? Like not for Magic, but like a couple years, maybe 4 years before.
Seriously?
Yeah. Or
That's
10
insane.
years before I started Magic, or 7 before I started Magic. But yeah. So like there's footage of it online of him just like dropping in.
Hannibal Buress rocked up to Molotov one night after it finished. It's shit like that. Like that can happen. I'm waiting for that
out
to
the front
really.
of fucking Magic.
Yeah.
That's the same, yeah.
I'm waiting for the day that like someone will rock up to do a set somewhere.
Yeah,
Do you
dude.
know
Well,
what I mean?
I've got some things in the works I'm working on to try and like maybe sneak get Will Anderson to drop in and shit like that. Like I just
Really quick, I might
organise
just
sneaky
mention
shit.
when you first. I'll do this real quick. When you first started running Magic in the original venue, you somehow got Tony Woods.
Oh yeah, Tony.
You got Tony Woods to come. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you got Tony Woods to come and stuff like that. And he ended up like I ended up going on just before him, and the audience did not laugh at this joke that I did, and he thought it was hilarious, and he was laughing, and he got up on stage and fixed it up and made it fun, made the audience laugh, and then he looked at me and was like, "I fixed it for you." There you go.
Dude, he is insanely good. And when I heard Chappelle fucking shout him out on these Mark Twain thing, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, we went to the strip club together, man. What the fuck? This whole world's my hero shouting out a guy that I did.
Same as
hung out with.
Dane Cook shouting out Al all the time. Same as
Burr
us.
does that as well.
We
yeah.
went, and Burr, that's right. We go and see Theo Von perform at Surrey Hills Comedy Club.
Yeah,
and just afterwards. And I mean, this is the thing. I think it seems to be a bit of a truth of most comics that don't become like mega stars, who don't become Hollywood actors and that sort of thing. But Theo's outside being like, oh, hey, man, I'm Theo. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was bad shit. He called my girlfriend Tiana Tiano, and I was like, that's awesome.
I saw a video today someone posted just on Instagram, and it was like, I think he must have been at a bar or something, and he talked to this guy, and the guy was like, hey, man, my friend's going to rehab. He's a big fan of yours. Could you self-record a video? They didn't show that part, but it's just him get the video. He's like, hey, all right, we go? And he's like, down there it says 434. What's that? Is that a psalm?
So funny, man. Well, look, we got to wrap this up. Wiz has to get out of here. I've got a date tonight. Yeah, fuck, man. So Tremendous every Thursday.
Yes, the Tremendous podcast
Wits Hour coming up this next weekend, May 15, 16.
on Spotify and the podcast app.
Obviously, I'll promote both of those throughout through all the channels and shit like that. But yeah, check it out. Magic every Wednesday, Harry's every Monday.
We end our podcast with a joke. Have you got a joke, Skinner?
Oh yeah, true.
Don't do that to me.
You got to
No,
have
yeah,
something up
yeah,
your
yeah,
sleeve,
like a street joke.
surely.
Nah, all I've got is cocaine abortion.
Okay,
jokes,
tell one of mine or Tom's jokes. Do your best Tom impersonation.
Caught me off the guard. Tommy act outs.
Tommy act out.
Fuck, what was that bit where you started swinging the...
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's going to be at the festival show. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it.
No, I can't even think of them.
All right.
Oh
Cool.
yeah, I can
That's
think
how
of one.
forgettable we are.
No, I remember all of them, but just like caught off guard here. But Tom's closer would probably be the easiest one to recite.
No, this is not the point. The point is I don't want to hear my joke averagely told back to me.
That would be great if Skinner ended the podcast doing one of the act's jokes.
Yeah, that would be good.
Doing
That's
one of
pretty
the
good.
guest jokes.
Give me a joke of yours. I reckon I can do it.
Okay, we'll do the blowjob joke. The birthday blowjob. I reckon you
Okay.
seem to like that one.
Oh, that's an easy one, yeah.
Let Skinner do that one. Let's see.
you do it.
The Skinner cast.
dude.
It was an easy one. Go on.
Yeah, but it's like...
Skinner,
all right,
if you
so
fuck
how's
it up,
go?
it'll be even funnier.
Yeah, all right. How's it go? So it's like... So my girlfriend said she was going to give me the best blowjob I've ever had for my birthday.
You've ruined it already.
No?
No, he's got it.
No, because he's got to start with, it was my birthday recently.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah.
It was
I'm
my
American
birthday
as well.
recently.
yeah.
Every percentage of anyone is American for some reason.
So it was my birthday recently, and my girlfriend said she was going to give me the best blowjob I've ever had. And I've lost it. How does it go? And then it's like
I got really anxious.
Yeah, I got really anxious because not because I don't want the best blowjob I've ever had, but because it's my birthday, and I don't feel like acting.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
It's an awful joke.
Yeah, you guys think you're
That's a
better.
great joke. I like that. Have you heard the Norm Macdonald one about Tiger Woods, where he's talking about how like how Tiger Woods. It was right after all the sex like the affairs and all that came out, and he's like, I don't think Tiger Woods is out there like trying to pick up girls at the supermarket and shit. I think girls are throwing themselves at him. He's like, he gets back, he's like, wow, I just won another Masters. Time to call it early for the night. And he's like on the phone. He's like, hello, room service. Could I get a tuna sandwich? No, I don't want a blowjob to end all blowjobs. I want a tuna sandwich.
Perfect. Well, that's the way to wrap, man. All right, thanks for coming in, boys.
Big love, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Look at me go, miracle flow. Look at me coming up, tearing it down. I'm in the know. Look at me grow. I'm in a jersey and she in a gown. Like I'm a Godzilla for God. Look at them running for me in a crowd. Let me come round.